It's Wednesday, September 19th. As Goa Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar recuperates at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in the capital, the BJP is grappling with the question of leadership. Parrikar, who first took ill in February, has been away for treatment for long periods. Let's take a look at how the numbers are stacked in the Goa Assembly. The Assembly has 40 seats. Here's how the ruling coalition looks. The BJP with 14 seats, the Maharashtrawaadi Gomantak Party with 3 seats, Goa Forward Party with 3 seats and Independents 3. The opposition has the Congress with 16 seats, which is the single largest party in the Assembly. The NCP has 1 seat. The Congress on Monday staked claim to form the government, stating that the administration in Goa has collapsed. The party urged Governor Mridula Sinha not to dissolve the Assembly and instead invite the Congress, which is the single largest party, to form the government. But does the question of the BJP-led government recommending dissolution arise? So far, BJP allies have maintained they are not switching camps. The 3 BJP central observers deputed by Amit Shah have met party leaders and alliance partners. Reportedly, an offer to give MGP leader Sudhin Dhavlikar the deputy post has been rejected by independents in the Goa Forward and sections of the BJP. Goa Forward Party leader Vijay Sardesai has also said he favours a permanent solution. Goa BJP veteran Ayush Minister Shripad Naik, sidelined in state politics over the years, is reportedly in contention. Rajya Sabha MP Vinay Tendulkar is also reportedly in contention. The government has announced that it will merge Bank of Baroda with Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank, in effect creating the country's third largest lender. Last year, we saw the State Bank of India's amalgamation with 5 of its associate banks. Why is this being done? There are 21 public sector banks. 11 of these 21 banks, which includes Dena Bank, are operating under emergency measures, the prompt and corrective action framework of the RBI that restricts fresh lending. Public sector banks account for a majority of the banking sector's non-performing loans. The government says this consolidation will help create a strong, globally competitive bank with economies of scale and enable the realization of synergies. The idea of mergers is to reduce the number of banks, and a healthy bank absorbing a weak one will make them better capitalized. Now, consolidation may be a short-term fix, but as Ira Duggal writes in Bloomberg Quint, the government will have to focus on the existential issue of the relevance of public sector banks in their core business of lending. Over time, public sector banks have lost a significant share of large corporate businesses. Private banks have cherry-picked the most profitable and the least risky of businesses, she writes. Private banks have also led retail lending. Private banks also appear to be gaining share in lending to small and medium enterprises. Public sector banks, though, continue to enjoy dominance over household deposits, owing perhaps to the trust the average depositor has in a sovereign-backed bank. As for the announcement of the government's intent to consolidate banks, many are pointing to the much-delayed implementation of the government's proposal to merge public sector non-life insurers, United India Insurance, National Insurance and Oriental Insurance, and asking if this too will drag on indefinitely. This image of the young school-going son of the Delhi sanitation worker who died on Friday while cleaning a sewer, breaking down, posted on social media, was a stark reminder for many of the continuation of the inhuman practice of manual scavenging 25 years after it was outlawed. The death came a week after 5 men suffocated to death while cleaning a sewer in the national capital's Moti Nagar area. The National Commission for Safai Karmchari's data shows that since January 2017, on average, 1 person has died every 5 days while engaged in cleaning sewers and septic tanks. Kakus, Divya Bharti's powerful 2017 documentary on manual scavenging was disturbing to watch. Think of those who have to do that dehumanizing job of clearing human excreta every day. Exactly 25 years ago, in June 1993, a law was passed prohibiting the practice of manual scavenging of human refuse. A quarter of a century later, the practice continues, and the promised rehabilitation of those engaged in manual scavenging remains unfulfilled. The Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act 2013 made the states responsible for identifying and rehabilitating manual scavengers by providing them training, giving assistance, loans, and even houses. It further prohibits dry latrines and other forms of insanitary latrines. The failure of the promised rehabilitation has been marked by the state's refusal to acknowledge the numbers. Manual scavengers identified by the state as just 7% of the households with at least a single member engaged in manual scavenging, according to Census 2011. There are 182,505 households in rural India with at least one member doing manual scavenging, according to the 2011 census. Even if we assume there is only one person in those identified households doing manual scavenging, there are at least 182,505 manual scavengers in India. Further, the census enumerates there are 740,078 households where excreta is cleared by human beings. And so the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has begun a new survey process from January this year. In the first phase, the proposed survey is being conducted in urban and rural areas of selected 164 districts in 18 states. Australia is facing a strawberry scare after customers across 6 states found needles within the strawberries they bought. Tons and tons of the ripe fruit have been dumped or destroyed due to the contamination scare. The first case of fruit tampering was reported in Queensland last week. Now the Australian Health Minister has ordered the Food Safety Authority of Australia and New Zealand to investigate the scare, calling it, quote, a vicious crime. At least 6 Australian brands have been caught in the scare, while New Zealand's 2 largest food distributors decided to stop importing Australian strawberries on Monday. The tampering, suspected to be specific events of sabotage, perhaps by disgruntled employees, has brought Australia's strawberry industry to its knees. In a few associated cases, apples and bananas have been found with needles inside as well. And finally, 2023 may be the first time a private passenger goes to the moon. Japanese businessman Yusaku Misawa, the billionaire founder of Japan's largest online clothing retailer ZOZOTOWN, will be SpaceX's first private customer to ride around the moon on the company's future massive rocket, the Big Falcon. Misawa, an avid art collector who spent $110.5 million on a 1982 painting by Jean-Michel Basquiat last year, said he would invite 6 to 8 artists from around the world to join him as part of a project #DearMoon for free. But if SpaceX will meet its 2023 goal is uncertain. Elon Musk is yet to launch anyone to space. The company's last manned project using its Falcon Heavy rocket was called off earlier this year. So, what art would you create if you could touch the moon? Think about it. We'll be back tomorrow with all the news from Earth and beyond.